Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Queen of TV channel. Now, before we get into our intros, get to some quick things first. Again, I would like to welcome our 2 new subscribers to the channel. And there will be cursing and profanity. If that's not your cup of tea, this channel is not for you. Now, on to our intro. Hello, everyone. I am your host, the Queen herself, and you are the Prince and Princesses. You're the subscriber or you are a viewer. Either way, welcome. Today, we'll be talking about Rikki Chadwick and why I love her from H2O Just Add Water, season 1 and 2. Like with all the other characters that I have done so far, we will be looking at her character development, we'll be looking at her personality, we'll be looking to see if she has a story outside other characters, we will be looking at her behaviors, we'll be looking at her relationships, and we will also see if her style reflects her character. There is an HBO Just Add Water video that talks about their clothing styles. So I will link that video in the description, and I will only talk about their color palette. So without further ado, let's talk about Ricky's character development. When we first meet Rikki, she, like Zane and Cleo, lead a chain of reaction of events that happen over the courses of season 2. Ricky's chain reaction is that she apparently is the one to save Cleo. Saving Cleo results in her deciding to take the girls out into the ocean. This in return set the second chain reaction. Due to Ricky's recklessness, they end up on Mako Island, which enters into Cleo's chain reaction of falling down the cave dwelling, which in turn leads to Mako Island and them becoming mermaids. We also see the next chain reaction caused by Rikki when Rikki ends up actually starting to like Zane and end up dating him, especially after he discovers Emma is a mermaid. He discovers a mermaid, not Emma as a mermaid. But on top of that, she hides it from her friends, which causes the suspicions of him to grow more and more, and as a result, he ends up finding out the mermaid's secret. They break up after everything got too complicated, but Rikki quickly finds out that they are still mermaids, even though apparently they were supposed to have given their powers up to the lunar eclipse. Only to find out from Lewis that they had to believe that to make the villains believe that. So that was fun. Now, when we go into season 2, Rikki is still Rikki. Rikki still leads to more chain reactions. Rikki ends up getting back together with Zane and yet again keeping it a secret, except this time it has the opposite effect. The girls actually are not mad at her. They actually help her and Zane work it out, and they end up getting together. Not only that, the next chain reaction is of Rikki doing small things. Lewis almost getting arrested for stealing the dolphin, convincing Cleo to fight back against Charlotte and her mother, which ends up with Charlotte revealing that she was the villain that Cleo always thought she was all along, and now they're fucking stuck with her. So then we get the next chain reaction of things, which was Charlotte joining the group. We see Rikki ain't letting up. Rikki ain't with the bullshit. Rikki leaves the group, which in return leads to Charlotte getting her comeuppance. And it does not take long for Lewis to realize who Charlotte is, thanks to Rikki and their resilience. So from Ricky's character development, we can tell that Rikki is used to being a loner. Obviously, she has a hard time making friends, befriending everyone, getting close to Cleo, Emma, and Lewis. So she obviously has never had friends, never had a true relationship, or has never actually been liked. We find this out from Rikki in episode 6 when she talks to Elliot as to why she had a negative reaction to him having a crush on her. She is not used to people liking her. She has never ever had a person actually generally like her and want to be near her and know her as a person. So this leads her to be very cruel and selfish and hurtful to him, which in return leads him to getting his feelings hurt and feeling let down by her. With that being said, she does learn to accept these friendships, and this relationship with Zane allows herself to be vulnerable, actually show her softer side, be more of a supporting friend, have compassion along with her confidence, and we see her experience what it feels like to actually be loved and cared about. When we get into season 2, Rikki is a lot more comfortable with Lewis, Emma, and Cleo, and in return, this is why she is able to not only confide into them, but actually comes in to support. Now, it does affect her and Lewis' relationship in season 2, because they are, their relationship is different than what people might be used to, or apparently doesn't know the word for it. But it's all because of Charlotte. That's the only reason why it's difficult. Because by the time we get to season 3, Rikki and Lewis are very close. So obviously, Lewis and Rikki do have respect for each other. They've gained respect for each other by the end of season 1. Now they're in the process of actually no longer being frenemies, but like actual friends. And they become actual friends in season 3. So season 2 helped that be possible. Not to mention, we see her finally have a healthy relationship with Zane, and they actually work out their issues and their problems with a supportive narrative from their friends. Well, not Nate. Friends meaning Emma, Cleo, and Lewis. But with that being said, by the end of season 2, Rikki is way more confident, vulnerable, happy, healthy, and on top of this, very loyal, not only to the secret, but to her friends, and able to like overcome her willingness to be ostracized and actually take things with being a mermaid very more seriously, actually grown as a person, actually being like willing to be open up to things that she would have deemed as dramatic, negative, and in this case, like ridiculous. Like Rikki sticks to her guns and she stayed true to herself. She doesn't allow the events of season 2 to unshape her character. Let alone she does not let people like Charlotte end up like undermining everything that her and her friends worked so hard to build. And I respect her for that. Now, in her personality, Rikki, when first meeting her, you would think that Rikki is mean. Rikki is a troublemaker who apparently is the type of person that does not know how to respect boundaries and has no filter. There's a whole lot of people that liked Rikki and her overconfidence and her honesty, and there's people that do not. I, for one, have called Rikki out for being unreasonable about certain things, but hell, even I have to admit, a person that's a lot more honest is a person who is very trusting and a person I would want to hang out with. Because sometimes people got to get their fucking feelings hurt. You have got to tell them what is going on. Because if you don't, and you sit there and coddle everybody, you're going to end up getting a bunch of fucking sensitive people. And that is not the way to go about life. So with all that, we see her personality shift. We see her be vulnerable. We see her romantic side. We see that she is not a complete troublemaker. She's just a person that has a past that is quite troubled. She also comes from that type of background. She from the trailer park, okay? And that's not to get at y'all who live in a trailer park. But she apparently is the type of person that thinks that if somebody's nice to you, they want something from you. or that if you would date somebody that's rich, they would think that they own you or something like that. She has a lot of pride. But by the end of it, we see that her personality shifts and she keeps this strong, resilient, confident personality, but she also gains a more compassionate, empathetic personality as well. By season two, this trend stays. And then we see her get more into her personality. Not only does she become more confident and more compassionate, but we see her actually become a lot stronger and accept for who she is instead of letting other people tell her who she should be. She does not change who she is. She stays herself and she learns to love the person that she has become. She is proud of herself and she becomes a lot stronger and a lot smarter. And she even gains like a tolerance for not allowing people to walk over her and knows when to just say her piece and walk off and learn how to fight only for her abdication for herself, but her friends. Now, does Rikki have a story outside her friends? Yes, she actually does. Which I think, to be fair, only Cleo, Emma, Rikki, and Lewis actually do. Especially in season 3. Now, in season 1, Ricky's storyline is learning how to open up more and be vulnerable, to no longer be a loner, and how to just accept help and friends and love and respect from others instead of closing off and being reserved. I think that reservedness and that willing to be honest is what I get from Rikki. But even I know that sometimes, even as tough as you want to be, you are easily hurt. You are easily traumatized and you are easily put in positions where you do not want to be in. So you can get embarrassed. And Rikki just does not handle that well, and she's not that kind of person. Now, as for her other storyline in season 1, we see that Rikki actually learns how to love. Rikki is not the type of person that understands love, understands compassion, so she learns that slowly through Zane. But she learns all the wrong ways because she's still not able to fully open up to him, and once she finally does, she is able to. By season 3, Rikki learns how to put her trust in her friends. She learns how to be a team player. Not only that, but Rikki learns how to just be herself and accept who she is instead of changing who she is. And accepting who she is that yes, she is a girl that comes from a poor family. She does not have a mother anymore. So my guess is that Ricky's mother is actually dead. Which is, when you think about it, very fucking sad. And there's no telling how old Rikki was when she lost her mother. So that's a piece of her that is actually broken. Not having a mother to understand compassion is very hard. Yes, her father is here and he's teaching her how to be strong and how to be tough. But with her mother, she could have learned how to actually be vulnerable. So having lost her mother is something that is very painful, because the first time she's actually mentioned is when we first meet her father, when he says that she has her smile. And it's the way that he says it is including to the fact that she actually lost her life. How she lost her life, we will never know, but as sad as that is very heartbreaking. So not only does she have to accept her family situation, but she has accepted she is who the fuck she is, okay? She is not a always compassionate person. She is confident. She is someone who doesn't allow vulnerability to shape her character. She is who she is, and not only does she learn to love herself, but she also demands it from other people, and she fights for the respect that she deserves. So those are all character growth moments and like human moments, learning to love yourself and not let others diminish that. That is a good story to tell. It may not be obvious for a lot of fans because, like I said, her and Emma got pushed to the back burner because of this love triangle thing, but that actually affected them as well. So looking at Rikki's story as a whole, you can kind of see that Rikki is becoming more humanized. Rikki refuses to be seen as a victim. She does not want to be seen as a victim, and she does not just want to be seen like another girl. Rikki is Rikki. Rikki loves who she is. Rikki knows who she is, and she's going to be who she is, regardless of not if the fan base like it. So now, as for her behaviors, Rikki's behavior is obviously going to be off-putting for a lot of people because they feel like that Rikki is inconsiderate and does not consider everybody's feelings. Rikki's the type of person that's not going to sit here and sugarcoat everything. If something is stupid, if something is dumb, if something is childish, if something is fucking sensitive, if something is all around negative and she's sick and tired of your fucking complaining, and she's going to complain about it. She is going to tell you about it. She's not going to bullshit you around. She's got that type of energy, okay? She is not going to coddle you. She is going to be honest with you. And if she does not care about something, she's gonna tell you she does not care. She's not gonna sit here and pretend she likes what you talking about or care about what you talking about. So once we get to season 2, her behaviors shift. We see that Rikki is a lot more calmer. We see that Rikki is a lot more like relaxed enough to where she isn't so obviously blatantly throwing it in your face. But at the same time, we see that Rikki is still not with the bullshit. She knows how to walk away from situations that apparently do not interest her whatsoever. She just wants to live her life and live it in peace. So when somebody comes in and disrupts that peace, or when she feels that her friends are going through something that needs her expertise, Rikki is not going to stop. She's going to jump at the chance of it, and she's going to show she is not to be messed with. And you are not going to mess with the dynamics of her friendships either. Now, as for her relationship with her father is obviously complicated. He has made a lot of mistakes, and Rikki is learning how to be open with him and actually, like, not be ashamed of him. Because let's be fair here, Rikki is ashamed of where she lives. Her friendship with Cleo is obviously a like learning how to be friends when meeting someone new, and then they become like sisters, like how she is with Emma. Her relationship with Emma is complicated. Obviously, like Ash, Emma challenges Rikki just as much as Rikki challenges Emma, and they have this back and forth conflict, not because they don't know how to be friends, but because they both are the same person, but they just handle it in different ways. Emma wants control over her toughness and control over her life, while Rikki is like rebellious and just likes to go wild with her life. Relationship with Lewis, which a lot of people deem that Rikki is very hard on Lewis and they don't like how Rikki treats Lewis. Lewis and Rikki have a brother sister relationship, because if you are a girl who has a brother, you know how it is. You always in competition with your brother. You don't care about what your brother's interests. You feel like your brother doesn't care about your interests. You two always fight. You two always like bicker who's in the right, who's in the wrong. Um, you both compete in the sense of connection to your parents or your friends, right? Have you ever seen the movie on the Edge of 17, like the Edge of 17? Maydeen in there obviously combats with her brother a lot for their mother's attention, because she was more connected to the father, he was more connected to the mother. She felt like he didn't understand her connection to the father. She was still grieving over her father's death, while everybody else around her was like trying to move on. When in reality, Nadine learns that her mom is like trying to be that parent that the father was, and feeling at it miserably because she is emotionally manipulating the son and her. by knowing that she shows the boy favoritism and using him to fill the void that her husband left. So she's a horrible fucking parent, to be fair. While her brother, who ends up calling it for what it is, she fuck he fucks her. Okay, they have sex. Um, which is okay. He's 18, she's 17. It's fine. It's not fine with Maydeen because her friend is the only good thing left in her life. So when he does this, he basically is taking the last damn thing that's keeping her emotionally sane. So I totally understand why she's pissed about this. And while her brother and her friend don't see a problem with that, is insane, okay? I'm sorry, but you know how I felt about him. I have vent to you about him. If you was into him, you should have told me you were into him. Instead of letting me sit here and talk crap about him to you, only for you to do this shit behind my back. Because I'm pretty damn sure if Maydeen did not walk in on them, she would have never told her. And it wasn't like she was ever gonna tell her. So I feel like that's Rikki in a sense. Rikki and Lewis are two people who are fighting and combating with each other. So when him and Cleo end up dating, obviously but surely, Rikki feels like this lovey-doveyness is icky, okay? She wants Lewis to be one way and Cleo to be another way. So seeing them together, like Rikki supports it, yes. But at the same time, Rikki can tell that when Lewis and Cleo are together, she and Emma are the two who are the afterthoughts. They don't matter anymore. So when Charlotte comes into the mix and causing problems for Cleo and Lewis, Rikki gets mad at Lewis because she wants Lewis to have a backbone. And let's be fair, Lewis does not have a backbone when it comes to Charlotte. Lewis doesn't have a backbone, period. So when Lewis starts having a backbone, that's because he learned some resilience in his relationship with Charlotte. But we'll talk more about that when we talk about him. But in all truth and honesty, like Rikki and Lewis' relationship starts off as complicated. And it becomes a frenemies situation once Charlotte becomes in the mix. And by the end of season 2, they actually learn how to be friends. And they become friends. Because they are friends in season 3. Now, with her relationship with Cleo's sister Kim, she just ignores Kim. Really? Her relationship with Elliot is platonic. They're like nice to each other. They spend time with each other. Now, her relationship with Charlotte is that Charlotte is viewed in Rikki's eyes by her status. She sees Charlotte as a person who thinks that they can get what they want and not have any repercussions. She does not like people like Charlotte who sit there and pretend to be this nice, kind, good, genuine person who's really a snake in sheep's clothing. Her relationship with Zayn is that she went from hating Zayn to fall in love with Zayn and then learning how to love Zayn while trying to figure herself out as well as him trying to figure himself out. Her relationship with like Byron is that she's protective of Emma, so she lets Byron know he better not hurt her. She did have a small crush on him. Her relationship with Nate is of disgust, and her relationship towards anyone else that is Miriam, enemy, Ash, like a brother, because she's nice to him. They're like friends. So it depends on the person, I think. She has complicated relationships with some people. With other people, she melds well with them, and that's due to her first impressions of that person. Her first impression of Charlotte actually starts from episode 4, where she does not know her. It's the first time she met Charlotte. So in this next episode after that, which is the fifth episode, she sees that Charlotte apparently is an impatient person. So she's curious as to what she's all about. And by the sixth episode, she gets the worst impression of Charlotte. She meets who Charlotte is, what Cleo sees. So Ricky's team Cleo in the whole hate Charlotte thing because Charlotte is not who she says she is. So that makes a whole lot of sense. Now, as for her style, like I said, I will link that H2O video in the description. But Ricky's color palette is like camo colors, black, and literal red is majority of her colors. She also wears the color blue, and that's when she's a lot calmer and confident. We also see her wear like polka dots or patterns in her clothing. She does wear pink a few times, but that's only when she's like happy. Now, when Ricky's wearing red, that's when Rikki is like herself. She's within her element. She is compassionate and she is a person who is fired up. While when she's wearing black, she's a lot more grounded. She is not taking any fucking paying no attention to nobody and not taking any crap. When she's wearing her camo color, that's when she's wearing like green. She is apparently having fun. She's the person that's standing in the background watching everything unfold. Now, when she wears that black and that red together, that means that that's the Rikki that's willing to get shit done. That's the Rikki that's willing to take things so far. It's gonna hurt. Okay, it's going to fucking hurt. Now, with everything put together, what I love about Rikki as a person is that Rikki is a learning lesson that you can learn new things about yourself, but at the same time, do not change who you are. Stay true to yourself and stay true to who you want to be. Don't let people bring you down. Don't let people tell you who you are and who you should be and how you should act and how you should live. Okay? Accept where you come from. Don't ever be ashamed of your family. Don't ever be ashamed of who you are. And don't ever be ashamed of who you want to be. And Rikki is that person. Rikki is that girl who is not going to sit here and be ashamed of anything or anyone of who she is. And if anyone tells her she has to be, they are not the person to tell her that. She is going to be who she wants to be, and no one's going to change that. I love that resilience. I have that utmost respect for her honesty. I have respect for her staying true to herself. And on top of that, her knowing her background, knowing who she is as a person, when you see her and actually follow her story, you see that Cleo made the right choice befriending Rikki, and that it just took Emma time to get used to her and Lewis to try to figure out his place with Rikki. But Rikki does not start trouble for the hell of it. She is who she is. She says what's on her mind, and she's going with that. She's not going to sugarcoat everything, and at least you know what you're getting when you meet Rikki. If that type of person is not your person, then yeah, you're going to have a problem with her. You're going to hate her. You're going to treat Rikki as if she is a problem person because you're not used to someone who knows who they are and already accepts who they are. And they are just learning how to do that when everyone else is telling them that they're wrong. But that's all I got for you guys today. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys have a blessed day. I hope you have a wonderful day. And if no one saw you today, I'm telling you, I love you. I will see you guys in the next video. But until then, bye guys.